Okay. You can start your podcast, your rules.
All right. All right. How can we start this now? I'm just like, how about the name? You were coming up with something, and it was just funny. I thought if I just put that name on it, it'll gonna be there. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, 5 years from now, I promise myself to not let this one go.
Yeah.
So 5 years from now, if it becomes famous, so the name gonna goes.
I said CyPod.
CyPod. It's like
Cyrus podcast.
yeah, that was
That would be a nice one. So I've actually written some, things for myself to remind myself to talk. Oh, I actually have
yeah.
to
You
lean
just need
forward.
to, yep.
Yeah, we just have one microphone for this session. Yeah, and then, so, as you know, it's been a few days. I came back from Spain, and I have had a nice time, of course.
So
But,
I can do this. Why not? But
Yeah.
that's better.
Yeah, but I realize that I have some sort of love and hate relationship with my home country, and I have been experiencing some sort of reversed culture shock, and I've talked about it
Wow.
with you.
What a name! Reverse culture
Yeah,
shock.
it is actually a term.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
It
Alright.
is a known term that when you get away from your home country for a while and then you come back, then you experience some sort of culture shocks, and it's
That's
called
interesting.
reverse culture shock. Yeah.
All right. All right. So let me just do something first. So sorry for that. Anyway, I hope you forgive me for that thing. But so we want to start this podcast today. What is the day? 31
31st of August.
August. All right. It's Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
So in this time, we want to start this and hope we can continue it. And we're gonna have more session together. So I want to introduce you to whoever is watching this. So
Yeah.
Moeen is one of my friends, which like he's one of the oldest friend of mine, and we started meeting each other in a panel discussion like I don't know 7 years ago.
7 years ago,
Yeah,
yeah,
7 years
more or
ago
less.
we met each other in a place that we wanted to practice more English, and we were not good enough, and we thought we can find a community to
Yeah.
actually have some common grounds, talking about concepts and sharing ideas. And all of a sudden we found each other in the university,
Yeah.
and
And we didn't know that we studied in the same
Yeah.
university. We met in a cafe in a language
same major,
exchange. Yeah.
and it was just
then we were studying the same thing in the same university.
yeah.
But we never had the chance to meet one another.
Yeah, it was like after meeting each other in that cafe, I think it took around 6 months that we
Yeah.
start meeting each other for real.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you introduced me a system called MBTI, and that
Yeah.
and afterward we start talking
You got
more.
obsessed. and
Yeah, I
you
got
started
obsessed
to,
with that.
Yeah,
little
binge
thing.
study that, and then
Yeah.
you started learning ops,
Yeah.
and then you continued and moved forward with it. Yeah, it's been a long
It's been
time.
a long journey.
Yeah.
And
And then I immigrated to
Yeah,
Spain
you
at some
did.
point. I think after 2 years that we knew each other more or less, then I traveled to
Yeah.
Spain, and then I went there for studies, and I am still there for studies, and I will be there for studies. Let's see what happens in the future.
And God bless coronavirus for this particular thing, because in that 2 years we became more friends.
Yeah.
It was like we had more time to share and talk. It was just like a lonely
Yeah.
time. With the help of internet, we could actually talk more, and we found out that we have a lot to talk, and those conversations are quite interesting. I mean, like if we were about to record everything that we talked in the past 2 years, that could be hell of a podcast for itself. Like because we had this 3
Yeah.
to 4 hours conversation all the time about deep meanings, that what are we doing here and stuff like that. So that form of conversation, but we didn't do it. But I thought we can do it from now. It was like it's not something
Yeah.
that we missed. It's just part of our life. We can actually live with it. We're still at the beginning of the road. So who knows how long we can do this? But I'm gonna be much happier if we continue doing this for
Yeah.
real in life.
You've been creating content like seriously during the past few months, and
Yeah.
that's amazing. And keep doing good
I'm gonna
work.
keep doing that,
Yeah.
yeah, because very lately people start noticing that what I do, and that's just interesting because, you know, let me tell you, content creation on YouTube, it's been a tradition by the past 3 years. People to start doing that, and surprisingly, in 2020 or 2021, it was like 7 million more content creators
Wow.
just added up to the number of the creators on YouTube.
Oh.
And you know, all of a sudden you just think, what kind of content do I like to create, and may people gonna notice or not? So out of, I don't know, millions of videos that been created every day and being uploaded on YouTube, all of a sudden you see people are gonna notice you from different parts of the world,
Yeah.
and they're asking you for more, and that's just like, all right,
Yeah.
why not?
That's amazing. Even now, especially nowadays, that we are spread in various part of the world. For example, I don't feel like I haven't seen you for a year,
Yeah,
because we
exactly.
constantly, we were Zooming and talking, and we were having video calls on Zoom and on Skype and elsewhere. And then I kept watching your videos on YouTube. So yeah, I felt like I got all the updates.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing about it.
I think you should have started as well. So,
Yeah.
but you're very stylish.
Wow.
So I was watching a TV show, and the hosts were asking the actor, "How can you be this much cool? Like, what is the secret of being cool and very stylish and very, you know, you are a designer inside." And I think somebody like you should start doing YouTube as well, because you have a lot of ideas, which I know in the past 2 years I've seen enough of it, and I know they worth working on it. Like you can do it, and I think you should start doing that. I mean, like, by not doing that, you're missing something.
Yeah.
You're doing some cruel things to others. You just prevent yourself from sharing, which is
Yeah.
going to be very good.
Yeah, I really enjoy sharing, and yeah, I've been sharing in different platforms like on Instagram, on my own blog, and Twitter, but I haven't been doing it like constantly. Like I haven't been very consistent.
You know, in my ideas, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years from now, nobody really gonna care about everything except YouTube, because it's a very beautiful platform for learning, for entertainment, for everything. And I think being part of the great team of YouTube is kind of like something that if you consider to just keep going and just leaving some legacy from yourself on the media, I think that's the platform. And somebody like you should absolutely do it. Maybe I shouldn't do it, but you should do it. So that's one
I
of the
think
things.
the other way around.
All right.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks for your compliments, and I will definitely do it in the near future. I will definitely make more content. I promise here.
Yeah, all right, good.
If I didn't do it in
Good,
the future,
good.
then
For your information, Moeen has a channel, and he shared some of the tech nerdish content on
Yeah.
there, and people actually watch those things despite of all
yeah.
the
I still
fuzziness.
get comments on those videos.
Yeah, and you don't
yeah.
care, I know. You just left that behind,
Yeah.
and that's not cool.
Yeah, it's really time consuming, because people ask you, and they're very demanding sometimes.
Yeah, but my idea of content creation, I thought if I want to do it, I have to do it every day. So
Yeah.
the good things about doing that every day is that you become concerned with everything on YouTube, and you think, what should I do now? So that what should I do now is going to help you to think more, to use your intuition more. So that's a very good key. And by that, I thought, all right, I like to do that. But one thing is a very big roadblock for me, and that's the preparation, the post-production, stuff like that. And I thought if I want to just keep doing whatever other people are doing on YouTube, I would not be able to upload every day. So I thought I can cut all the unnecessary things, which I think they're just like thumbnails, good topic, good description, and I can just go with the video. So the good
Mm.
things about it, after 3 months uploading every day, now I have some energy to work on those parts, because content creation and recording video just becomes something very, routine and
Very
easy for me
easy, yeah.
now. Then I can start working on those other stuffs
Yeah, yeah.
on YouTube. So if I want to help you now, you can actually cut all the unnecessary things and just keep uploading until the time that you have the energy to work
Yeah.
on it. So cut the all the time consuming parts. So make it easy for yourself. That way you can keep uploading, and that's going to be
Yeah, it really feels good. I personally feel very good when I share something that I know, especially after the immigration, because I feel like, okay, I am far from my people, from the people that I knew, and then I can create something, and I can share it with them, and it can be useful for them, and that's amazing. But apart from that, it's also for the people from different parts of the world, other parts of the
Yeah.
world, but especially for people in Iran. I would like to do something, and I think content creation would be one of the most, achievable things that I can do, and
Yeah.
it can be beneficial for them. Yeah, I think these are good ideas, and I hope I'll implement them.
Yeah. I hope that as well. So, all right, that was the introduction part, but the reason that we actually have this podcast here is not the introduction part,
Yeah.
but it's another thing that we like to talk about, and it was your suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm just like today's topic, and that's very interesting.
It's a little bit dark.
It's a little bit dark, but it's
bitter
a
to
very
start.
interesting topic. Long time ago, I started a podcast on Persian community, and believe it or not, but the subject of the first session was the same subject that we like to talk
And
about
I didn't
now.
know about it.
Yeah.
And I just randomly came up with the
But
idea.
when you said it, I was just like, okay, no problem. I like to talk about that as well. Like maybe new experiences changed
Yeah.
the whole things in my mind, and I'd like to just record it.
So the idea is death.
Death.
And the reason that this came to my mind is that last night I was spending time with my aunt, and we were talking about this topic, about the people that are not here with us anymore. And since last year that I was away and I came back, some people are not there anymore. And that's a part of the immigration.
Wow.
And I think the immigration itself is some sort of, I call it pseudo-death or semi-death. It's not like death itself, but it feels like death, because you go away from your home country, and you leave some part of your belongings.
More
Okay.
for better quality. Yeah.
Okay. You leave some part of your belongings here. You leave your beloved ones. Of course, you're still in touch with them. You can call them, but you're not there. Like physically, you do not exist where you were before. And that has some, mental pressure. That creates some mental pressure, especially in the beginning of the immigration, for both sides, your family that is in your home country and you yourself that you go away. So I was thinking that it's really important to think more about your relationships, because during these past 5 years, so it's this September it will be 5 years that I am not living in Iran anymore. I was thinking that every time that I was really missing someone and I was feeling bad about it, it was because something was wrong in my relationship with that person. For example, maybe it's cruel to say this, but I don't miss my grandma in a bad way. Like when I am there, I don't feel like, okay, I wish I had spent more time with her when I was back there in Iran. And this is because I used all of the opportunities to spend time with her, and I have no regrets. So it's like, okay, when I was there, I spent a lot of time with her. I did whatever that I could. And now that I am far, I feel totally okay. But whenever I think about some of my relationships and I feel like, oh, I wish we had done that, I wish we had traveled more, for example, with my family, I feel like, okay, there is something wrong there. that I have to fix, and I have to, contemplate about it more and think about it more in order to digest it, to come to terms with it.
Cool.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I think it's something that we should really consider it before, before getting away, before, because immigration now, it's a trendy topic.
Yeah.
So I encourage all the people that want to immigrate to think more about this topic, about the topic of death, um, to know more about their relationships.
So where is that regret comes from?
Well, I don't know. Well, it's different from one person to another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for someone, it might not be that strong, but for some other people, it might be strong. Like last night, I was talking to my cousin, and she was like, feeling frustrated about the whole concept of immigration, and she was scared that if I go, then what would happen to my relationships? I feel like, I should be with my parents, and it's some sort of attachment. Maybe a part of it is not a very healthy attachment that you have with those people, and or maybe you don't feel, you don't have a good, I don't know, good maybe is not the best word for it, but maybe you need to work on your relationship with yourself, in the first place,
Yeah.
than your relationship with other people. But what do you think, where that regret comes from, when you have those feelings when you're away and you feel like you're missing them?
Well, that regret for me comes from the time that I was not so mature with
Okay.
everything that I had. So when matureness hits you really hard, you feel like, all right, I was doing the things that I would not think I would regret about. So basically, you have some regret for the things that you could have done, but you didn't.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing that, from I don't know, the last 3 years, I tried not to do. Like whenever I wanted to do something, I thought, all right, this is the time. So go and
Okay.
do it. Just don't think. Do not overthink about it. Just do it, because one time you're going to think that I could do it, but I didn't. And you're going to just leave no way behind yourself of regret. You're just like, all right, I want to immigrate to another country. Like I like to go and study, and I like to maybe come back or something like that. But the thing is that my mom is now in Iran, and I'm thinking about her, that if I leave, what's going to happen to her. So whatever that is going to happen in my life now, I try to dedicate it to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
To think that, all right, I mean, like, I can collect enough information, and I can collect enough maybe feelings in my, archive, then I can have them all the time with myself, so I feel less regretty after not seeing her. but as a matter of fact, I don't know why even we should think about it. So one of the problems that I have with this particular subject is that death itself and everything about it is not in your hands. Like you're one of those people that are always coming up with plans and thinking
Yeah.
about what to do, when to do, and how to do. And the thing about death is just like you never plan for it, and you're
Yeah.
never gonna plan for it, and it just comes
It just happens.
itself, and that part maybe gonna hit you harder than ever.
Okay, so
Maybe death itself is not a problem, but because we're not prepared
yes, of course.
for that topic is gonna be really hard.
But how can we be prepared? It's all about the relationship that you had with that person. And I think whenever you have a healthy relationship with someone, when that person dies, um,
You're gonna miss it. I was like,
yeah, you're gonna miss it, but you don't have the feelings of regret. You don't have negative feelings. So I talked about immigration and how similar it is to death. But yeah, last night we were talking about another topic as well. That one of our relatives, she lost her husband, and they didn't have a very good relationship. like everyone knew that they don't have a,
It was just fine. It was
yeah.
like,
And
yeah.
when this happened, she really started to act like
It mattered, huh?
yeah, it mattered too
Wow.
much for her. And of course, deep down, apparently, she loved him, and I think he also loved her. But they never had a very healthy relationship. You know, like from outside, when you were observing them, you couldn't see a very healthy relationship.
Hmm.
But then afterwards, when it happens, when the death comes and when it hits, then you realize the things that you missed and how you could be prepared for it. Or I don't know, it's a complicated topic. I don't want to judge her, you know, but at the same time, um, I think we need to invest more on how can I say it, on repairing, you know, the relationships. Otherwise, if it comes, it happens, then you're gonna have some sort of
All right, so let me tell you
regrets.
this. You know Sadhguru, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
For your information, if you don't know that guy, just go and search it on Google. Very interesting guy. So he was saying in one of his like speeches that you should not process death at all because whatever that hasn't come, you should not process it. You should not be concerned for the future, or you should not be concerned with the past. Just try to live in the moment, and then it's just if it happened, then process it then. Because if you try to process it a lot, I mean, like earlier, you're gonna just hurt yourself more than the time that it might happen. But in my philosophy, that's not good. So he was saying this, but I was totally disagree with everything. Why? Because if you're not good with feelings, the thing is that we logical people, I mean, it's like I call myself a logical, I have a very not good relationship with feelings. So when something like death is happening,
Okay.
it hits me really hard. Except the time that I try to process that thing a lot earlier with myself. So I might hurt myself a lot earlier than the time that it might happen. But when you process something like death in your logical world, you become much more okay with it. But when you're a feeler, that's okay. You can process it just the time that it happened, and you can get rid of it as soon as possible. But for us, it's a different thing. So it matters that you try to process it before or
Yeah.
after.
Just one thing for those who are watching, by feeler and thinker, we're talking about the Jungian functions,
Yeah, yeah.
like the TITE or FIFE.
FE,
So
stuff
if you want
like
more
that.
information, just go and search it. You will find out more about it.
Yeah.
So by saying that I'm a feeler, you're logical, we're not complimenting.
Yeah, yeah.
We're just talking about
It's
the
the way
Jungian
that we
functions.
are.
Yeah,
It's like it's how we
yeah,
found
it's like how
ourselves.
it's a hard-coded thing
Mhm.
in our brain
Yeah.
from Jung's perspective. Yeah, but you know, the whole process of processing death is a complicated thing. So I have from my point of view, I come up with a very easy formula. If you want to digest death in an easier way, just try to maintain and build a healthy relationship with the ones that are around you. And sometimes it's very difficult to do it. Because, you know, when you have a healthy relationship,
By healthy, you don't mean intimate, right?
um,
Or intimacy should be there as well.
well, it can be intimate or not intimate.
Because it matters to me. So
Okay.
it really matters if I don't have any intimacy with the person who just got lost. I may not really feel that much of.
Okay, let's assume that you're very intimate to that person.
Oh, that's very hard for somebody like me.
To-
Healthy
to-
relationship for a logical person, which is not really good with making any connection. That makes everything a lot more harder. Except the fact that I might like to process it before. Because, you know, all my connections in whole my life, 27 years I lived on Earth, all the relationships that I have, which are healthy and intimate, are not more than my left hand. So imagine if I lose any of it. That's not good.
Well, healthy is you know, a vague term. Like we say
Yeah.
toxic, we say healthy, but there should be some sort of
Standards.
metrics and standards for that to actually measure it. So let's open that a
Let's
little
be
bit.
so clear about it. Let's
Yeah, yeah.
clarify it to
Yeah. Well, but when I'm talking about, okay, let's talk about the things that are not healthy. Like we know that in a relationship, when you're passive aggressive, that's toxic. When there's like a love and hate relationship, that's toxic. When you do not respect another person, that's toxic. When you don't try to understand each other, you know. So I think instead of trying to digest the death itself, we should focus on the relationship. And the death comes anyway, and I think existentially, even if by processing, what can you do? Like, what can you process about it? Like, it's a very vague thing. Like, we there are books about, I don't know, death and losing a beloved one. But I think it's better to somehow prevent it by you know trying to fix things in beforehand. But when it happened after that, of course, even after that, there are some ways to get over those feelings, because sometimes you just lose your chance. You just basically lose your chance, and you cannot get back in time and you know repair and improve the relationship that you had. So afterwards, then there are other things to do. But I'm talking about the things that you can do before death happens.
Before.
Before it
Cool.
happens.
All right.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That from my point of view, I think the best way to come to terms with a death of beloved one is to work on the relationship before. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the only thing that comes to my mind
Okay.
when I think about it. And what if it's not possible? Then sometimes you know, we people, we're complicated and we
Yeah.
cannot do it. And you really like that person, and you cannot build a very healthy relationship with them, and at the same time you are intimate.
Yeah.
And that's something that these days I'm thinking about. Okay, how can I solve that? How can we come to terms with that? But yeah, it's very complicated.
Let me tell you a concept. I actually made a video about it, but I like to talk about it now because I was processing how can we actually fix it. So that was one of
Yeah.
the ways that actually came to my mind. I was thinking about it very deeply the other day, and I found out, all right, it's kind of like a reverse engineering for not getting hurt by feeling itself. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a very aggressive way towards not getting hurt. So you're forcing yourself to be so immune to feelings. So that's the thing that I do to myself. So the concept called free soul. It's not free spirit, because I was
Yeah.
searching on YouTube and there are a lot of videos about free spirit, but this is free soul. This is my concept. So I was thinking that when you're born, you're totally dependent.
Yeah.
You depends on your mom, it depends on your dad, the family, the shelter, the food, whatever, until the age of, I don't know, 18. Maybe in Iran, maybe it's 25, 26. We don't,
More.
who knows?
Sometimes.
30, 40,
30.
yeah. It goes up, on and on and on. But let's say 18. When you're 18, you kind of learn how to protect yourself. You kind of may learn how to make money, and you may know how to be independent. So that's the very first stage of getting away from the home that you were in it as your safe zone, and now you're in the real world. So maybe it takes around 5 to 6 years that you learn how to protect yourself more and how to make more money to be able to have a good life. So you may take more responsibilities, and that is the middle stage of independency. So you're totally independent, and you know how to live a good life. To the time that you may get in love and having a partner with yourself, and maybe you have kids. To the time that you have kids, you start to become mature, and the beginning of matureness is the end of full independency.
Mhm.
So you learn how to be independent, You know how to make money and you know how to protect yourself. Now is the time to protect others. So the first stage of matureness. And matureness by itself, it's never going to come. You should work on it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, only making money and having a spouse or having kids does not mean that you're mature.
Yeah.
You may be 60 years, but you're totally not mature. You may be 80 years, but you're still not mature. So matureness comes in a very different way. It does not come from your genetic or only experience, and good experience is the way that you actually understand I can protect myself and my family in a very good and healthy way, and then I can protect others as well. So matureness starts, and when you become total matureness, you become totally mature, it means that you can protect yourself, your family, others, and you can actually be the godfather of your own life.
Yeah.
At the end of being totally mature, you become a free soul. But free soul is one step away from the time that you protect all of those steps before, and you are able to free yourself from the chains that you have with others.
Okay.
So because all these years you were trying to develop something, you're trying to stack up a lot of different things to be able to protect all of those people in your life, but you never know that when are those chains are actually connected to you. You have a lot of chains that are connected to you by feelings. So when you try to unchain those things, you become a free soul. You are able to do everything in life, plus protecting a lot of people, plus teaching a lot of people how to be just like you and to be free soul, and you are not connected to anything.
Okay. So, let me put it this way. So I think when you become a free soul, when you're mature enough, and you have a relationship with someone, and that relationship, well, it might be healthy from your side, like you're doing your best,
Just
but from
healthy.
the other side,
No, try to consider it all healthy.
yeah, but I mean, sometimes the challenge comes from the other person. Like you are healthy, you are okay, but the other person is not like that. And at the same time, that person is a person that is important for you. I don't know. It's one of your beloved ones, a family member that is in your life. And I think when you are mature, you're like, okay, I did my share. I tried, and it didn't work out. So even at that point, if something like death happens, then you don't have any regrets. You don't have any bad feelings about yourself and about the happening. You said, okay, I did my share. It didn't work out.
All right, let me tell you. That's part of being totally independent. That's not matureness. So matureness is the time. I mean, like when you become totally mature, and when you become a free soul, you might never have any toxic relationship, even with the most toxic people on earth. You know why? Because you understand that they cannot be as good as you maybe in that realm. So you try to understand and accept everybody's weak point, and you try to be just like a father. And by that time, I mean, it's like imagine a grandpa. Yeah. Grandpa would never be angry of the people around him. He's just like, all right, I lived my life. It was good, and everybody is fine. If you're that way, just be it.
So it's like you have iOS 13 and they have iOS version 6, and you're you're like,
good
okay,
analogy.
I support you. You cannot support me.
It's fine. It's just okay. And by the time you become totally mature, everybody should love you. Why? Because you're not trying to push anything. You try not to fix anything by force. That's the time that you're wise enough that you understand nobody is that complete in life, and everybody has their own mistakes. Yes, you will also have it. By the time that you're a free soul, still you're making mistakes, and that's just fine because we're human. Part of the hormones is always going to be there, and you cannot control it, and you make the mistake. But when you're totally mature and you're a free soul, you make the mistake, you understand it, you accept it, and you try to fix it.
Yeah.
And imagine everybody is around you going to have the same approach because you're the one that is going to lead everything. So by being free soul, I told you, it's a reverse engineering for not getting hurt. Somebody is dying in your family. You understand, you love them.
Yeah.
It's okay. But death is part of the life. So you try to accept it. You might mourn, you just cry, maybe for, I don't know, weeks. But
Yeah.
that's just okay because we're human. We're not robots, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So crying in mourning is not the part that is hard or regret's going to be there. So I don't know. I don't know. 30 years from now, or even sooner or later, my mom gonna die one day. So I
Yeah.
loved her enough. I did whatever I could, and I will do a lot more as I become better in life
Yeah.
myself. So if she dies, it's just like, all right, that's part of the life. We had a very good time. It's all about a matter of understanding, but it's not gonna be there if you're not that mature.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
part of the problem is not it's like handling all of these parameters by itself is a very big thing.
Yeah, I
It's
was
a
thinking
very
about
big
that.
thing.
The whole hero's
Yeah,
journey that
yeah, yeah,
you have
exactly.
to
Go
go
through,
Yeah. But anyway, it has been around my mind like every time that I come here, it's like one of the, and you know one thing that I don't know if it's only about my family or other families do that. Like someone dies and they don't tell you. Like you come here and then you let's visit him or her and they're like he passed away. And like what? Why you didn't tell me? Like we didn't tell you because we thought you were gonna be sad. It's like come
All
on,
right.
just let me know.
Now
the
I'm gonna be
update.
happy because
I'm sad anyways. But now you're with us, and
Yeah.
now we can like
you can
handle
process it a lot more
Yeah, but I
easier.
think many people do that, like
To us, no. My mom shares too much. If anybody dies, I mean, like I'm the very first person that she might just
But
call.
you are living here.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah, yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, she does not call to my brother or my sister.
Yeah.
Like, she only calls me. I mean, like, she will tell them later, but any time that she has. But the moment somebody dies, I was like, that's not funny. But the funny part is she's gonna call me instantly, like just Cyrus, somebody died. Can you come? It's like, Mom. All right.
Yeah, so I have been really thinking about this topic, and yeah, I really support the idea of just working on yourself and trying to, because it's all about, I think in the end, the biggest part of it is all about yourself and how you process it and how you handle it.
Yeah. But what do you think about death and after it? Like this, that's the biggest mystery in humans' life, huh?
Yeah, that's also an interesting point because, you know, when you're away, some nights I have like dreams about the people that passed away, like I don't know, my grandparents or other people, or I see in my dreams that some people died, but they're living. Like the next day, I just call it, "Are you alive?" Yeah, I'm alive. Um, but does that even matter? I mean,
I don't know. That's kind of like, I mean, it's like the whole idea of after death, despite all my beliefs, which maybe I'm one of those people that I'm not supporting the after death.
mhm.
I don't know, but the whole idea of the religion kind of like presented to us from that perspective, it's just kind of like fine. I don't know. That's one of those ideas that are too good to be true, huh? And you may not really like it, but if it happens, it just happened. Because, you know, my father kind of like died 18 years ago, and whenever I see him in my dreams, he was just like, that would have been a lot better if he was here.
Yeah.
So the idea that you cannot actually meet that person again, and all right, let me tell you this: the beauty of thinking about people who died. So I do that a lot, and the idea that they existed once,
Mm-hmm.
so you just collected some memories in there, and the idea that when you think about them and you want to meet them, they're not there. That's not as scary. That's not beautiful. That's nothing. Total numbness to me is total numbness, and that's a very weird feeling that I always have. So the whole idea of meeting them one time in the future, that's gonna be okay. But at the present time, you just like, you think about it and it's not there.
Yeah.
It's just not there like it was never there. That's weird. At the same time, beautiful. How I'm just like, what is going on in my head? But
Yeah, and actually sometimes I think about, as I said in the beginning, that immigration is like a pseudo death. sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe those who died, they just immigrated to another dimension instead
Yeah.
of another country, and at some point we meet, you know. And the most weird thing about death is that someone that died has never talked to us about the experience.
Yeah.
Like that makes it very mysterious and makes it very complicated. And for us as humans, like evolutionary wise, we just feel traumatized when we face death, and it's just something automatic that happens in the brain. Like you cry, like these things happen to you, and you cannot. Sometimes you cannot even control it,
Yeah.
and it's like it's something hard coded in us. Like I was thinking that why do we feel so sad when we miss someone, when we like someone passes away, and they're
Yeah.
not in our lives? Like why don't we, well, in some religions, some religious people that I have seen, they really accept the death in a way that they're like, okay, they just went to another phase of their life, so we don't feel like we have missed them or something like that. So they accept it and they come to terms with it. But generally, for
Yeah.
us, or even for other animals, you see when a child of, for example, a cat dies, the cat gets
Become
really sad,
depressed.
depressed, or dogs, or I don't know, other
Yeah,
animals.
that's weird that how it actually evolutionized in that particular way. That you actually, I mean, like, all right,
I
I
think
thought
it's about
about,
the
yeah,
protection.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that a long time ago. That yes, I mean, like you become more aware of the situation that you might die,
Yeah.
and you have to protect yourself more. And maybe it's a bit of that, like the whole idea of crying for somebody who dies, just like you're crying for the fact that you may die as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like your brain is telling you this should not happen to you, and you're like, this should not happen to me, but you know that this will happen to you
Yeah, so you're crying.
sooner or later. Yeah,
And
it's like,
maybe if you just ask people, they totally disagree with the idea that you're gonna cry for yourself, for sake of self protection and self awareness. Maybe it's kind of like a sensor in your brain. When you see somebody's dying, the sensors start just buzzing. Like, dude, just cry, because
yeah,
that's gonna remind you that you're gonna die as well. So try to be more protective and stuff like that. But
yeah,
that's, yeah,
yeah,
protection.
definitely. I think that should be it.
So
Okay.
you from feeler's perspective, you think that should be it as well, right? Because from my perspective, it's kind of like okay to think like that.
Yeah,
Protection, so survivability,
yeah.
uh,
Survival. Yeah,
survival.
that's the main. That's the main thing about it. Things have got deep.
Yeah. Uh, who's that guy that made Marvel?
I don't know.
The very old guy. I always forget his name.
The Marvel creator.
Yeah, the Marvel creator.
I
It was
can,
it
I
was
can
this
search it.
it was this podcast with Larry King. I guess Larry King were asking, "What do you think about death and when you're dying?" And he was saying, I think he's an NT as well. Like
Okay.
he's kind of like an ENTP in the world of MBTI. And he was saying, I think about death, and I understand when.
Is that it?
No. Oh, Stanley. Stanley.
Okay, Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley was saying, I understand when you actually go to a limbo, but I don't understand how you can stay there forever. It's kind of like when you're sleeping, you don't know what's gonna happen next until the time
Yeah.
that you wake up. But imagine you're gonna sleep forever and not waking up. So he was just like he didn't support the idea of after death, but he was so confused with how you're not about to understand anything after you die. What do you think about after you die? Imagine you're dead right
Um,
now.
I think, I think that we are just a projection of the nature, and now the nature has decided to project us in the format of a human. So we have something called brain that can store some data and build some sort of self, and I started to know myself as Moeen, and because it's a complex system, it can use something like language, it can interact with the nature, and I think we're very limited. Like, there is a lot in the nature that we cannot see, we cannot communicate with, and I just see the whole nature very mysterious. Like, I think we're missing a lot of part of it. There are a lot of colors that we don't see, a lot of sounds that we don't hear, and I have some sort of consciousness that makes me feel like me, and I feel like, okay, once I die, is there something like me afterwards or not? I think I will be deteriorated in many parts, and then
It's
it will
getting
be like
weirder and weirder.
each part of me will be in the nature. Like, one part of me might turn into a banana or a pineapple, or I don't know, a worm, and then because all of those neurons in my brain are not next to each other and together, I don't have the identity of Moeen. I don't have that self. I don't have that consciousness, but of course I continue living. Like, I am there. Maybe in some
Unbelievable.
sort of shape or form, it's possible to
Okay.
put it back together, or before I die, we store it somewhere. But that's like, I see that's like very materialistic, to just store your brain in one thing, and then, okay, that's Moeen, we have it, on our servers. But I think if we skip that idea, yeah, my consciousness will be all around the nature, and it's
Man,
just it's just very complicated to put it together.
as much as you talk, you just open more doors. When I want to think about it, it goes nowhere. It's like we can discuss about it for an hour. But good that you brought this up. All right, so let me tell you this. In my opinion, the biggest question of all humanity is what is consciousness and where is consciousness?
Yeah,
Because as you said, we're in some shape or form we're gonna get back. So stick to your idea, right?
yeah,
Imagine if we can actually do that.
yeah,
Imagine if this kind of like identity that we have is gonna be stored in somewhere and it's gonna just be in another shape in the nature. So my biggest question is, I'm just like, I think every day about different things and I try to answer them with whatever I have. And if I cannot do that, it makes me furious. So I have to search more and try to understand more until the time that I can answer every question in my life. But that particular one that you said, I think that's the only thing the human never had the opportunity to meet it, as a real thing. Like, in my opinion, yes, your shape and your form right now doesn't matter. Like, you're just like this. We never chose to be like this. I mean, it's like, as far as we know, like that dialogue in Inception. It said you wind up in the middle of somewhere, not knowing where you came from, and you just open your eyes and you were just like 4 years old, 5 years old, and you just experienced the world. You could see some of it, and but how? So that's very scary and beautiful at the same time to me. That if it happened just like that, even though I'm just like thinking about when I was 5 or 6, I don't believe it existed once, because it's just something in there. I always feel that every time I open up my eyes, I am from another part of the world. I'm from part of another universe. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if I wake up today and I see all the things that I see now is part of what I actually experienced or not. And the thing is that that only concept is what matters. But where is it and what is it? How the hell it just happened?
like the
All these
whole.
all these years of evolution, 3 million years of people on Earth, different form of humans, different category of humans, and us, the last group, the Homo sapiens. What made us us?
we have very little information about
Yeah,
that.
and I think I was like, I really want to spend the rest of my life thinking about this question and trying to understand it, to the time that I was thinking I have to go to India and talk to these yogi people that they claim that they know what is going on. It's like people like Sadhguru once, he said there is this source of unconsciousness that you can actually get your hands on it with some techniques and stuff like that, with meditation, blah blah blah. And the thing is that if you get your hands on that, and that ridiculous idea that you said Moeen can be stored in somewhere, I think everything gonna have some meanings from that point. If you literally know what, I think all the mystery in the world and everything is just that consciousness. I think
Yes.
everything, it goes back to there, like millions of galaxies. I think doesn't matter that much to me, because I never gonna experience being on
Yeah.
that galaxy. But one thing matters: where I came from, how I wind up here, and when I die. Apparently, I came from somewhere, and I have to get back to that place again. Because like the idea of you came from nowhere and you're gonna go nowhere is kind of like, wait, it's kind of like not understandable, and it may not be that accurate. But the whole idea, if we create something before and we create something afterwards, which religion used it, and they just got people in the system for a long time, that idea is much more meaningful than the whole idea of not knowing where to go.
Personally, I think the whole problem is about the language, because when you we use language for thinking, and when you use language, you think about a concept like beginning, and you think about a concept called end, you think about the concept called time, you think
Okay.
about a concept called consciousness. Maybe these are all just
Made of
illusions.
words.
Okay, I feel like the whole idea
Wow.
that Sam Harris talks about, like the delusion of self, is about the same thing. Like, we think that we have an identity. We think that it all started at some point. But why do we use the word start? But that the whole concept of time is very relative. We think about a beginning and an end, and it's just we use time to find ourselves in the chaos of the world. It's just nothing
Cool.
more than that. Like, if I didn't know that I have to meet you at 4:30, we would get lost in the chaos of the universe. So we just use this tool, and then we're just taking it too serious.
Ah,
You
that's
know?
interesting.
Yeah, and I think the whole idea of trying to figuring out what is consciousness. Okay, you just have a brain. You're just some particles. You're just an expression of the nature. And at some point, you're just going to get back to the nature. And I just see it that way, because I think we're making it too complicated. Yeah, we are a very complicated and complex system. And it's interesting to work on it and try to understand it. But like the whole idea of soul, identity, consciousness, and these things, I think these are like some games in language. And I got these ideas from Wittgenstein. Um, he's one of the interesting philosophers, and he has some interesting work about language. We try to objectify things, we try to make them and turn them to a sensory shape. But the thing is, maybe it's just not like that. So I see it that way, and I don't know. Maybe I changed the way I think
That's
the
good.
next day, but currently I see it this
No,
way.
that's good. That's very good. That gave me some clarity here. Uh, wow. All right. So something changed in my mind.
By the way, it's been already 1 hour that
It's
you're
just
recording.
okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can actually split the videos
Oh, okay.
for
In
for
two
different.
parts. Yeah.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. It's gonna be. I mean, it's like all the concepts that we're talking about are not maybe so connected. They're connected somehow, but we can actually split the whole idea. I mean, into different chunks,
Okay.
and we can
I
upload
see.
them separately. Yeah. So we're thinking, all right, that's a very good thing, because earlier I mentioned that, but I didn't really took care of my own idea. First, I said, I think every day I wind up I'm in the middle of something, which this is the existence that I'm gonna experience today.
Hmm.
Maybe all the life that I had to have, it was today. And it was just like supporting the idea of future is kind of like not very good in some way. Maybe because yes, Sadhguru were saying, the good guy, the wise guy, we're saying do not calculate or process whatever it is going to happen in the future. Try to process only today. Maybe there is some secret in it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's again about the delusion of time,
Yeah.
because animals are not like that. They don't
Yeah,
think
they,
about.
they they live every day of their life.
Yeah, they
They
just.
try to live that particular moment, finding food, try to survive.
Yeah,
And all right, if there will be next day.
yeah,
So that's a very scary thing. But if there will be a next day, you can experience it.
yeah. The whole idea of planning past and future comes from intuition, from the imagination, that we can imagine things.
But we never know,
Um,
huh?
Yeah, we never know. Yeah,
The unknown unknowns.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's like this idea of unknown made to be one of
Yeah.
the very scary things in the world, and people now believe that the only thing that's going to change your life is unknown. The things that you don't know that's going to happen to you, even you don't know what is that, but it's going to happen, and that's going to change everything. The unknown. So maybe the whole idea of thinking about tomorrow is kind of like stupid as well. I can say it like that.
Well,
It kind of should be balanced. I know, like maybe if you want to say that, like not only caring about today is very good. Like there should be some balance about having some ultimate goal and having some plans for the future, but it's going to be there. It's kind of like a roadmap that you just said. This is where I want to be, and I think I'm kind of like here, but I don't care about the rest of it. So I'm just going to go towards that one.
yeah. Personally, I'm starting to give up on planning, at least long-term planning, because I think it doesn't work in my personal life. A lot of things had happened that proved that to me, as an IJ freak that likes to plan
Like
everything out.
planning,
But yeah, but now I prefer to have visions. It's like I have some sort of vague vision about the future, and I try to move forward towards it, but I'm pretty flexible about the things that are gonna come up. Like,
So
for
kind of like
example,
fuzzy logic, huh? For instance.
yeah, something like a spectrum, that a lot of options might happen, but as long as it is towards my vision, it's
Yeah.
all right. It doesn't matter if
Kind of like
I
that
am
ultimate goal.
in Spain, or if I am in other country, or if I am doing a particular job in a specific
It's a very recent things
company.
that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about. Yeah. So I just wanted to go to the U.S., but after thinking about why do I want to go there, my personal reasons wasn't that strong that it could
Yeah.
support it. I'm just like I thought, dude, it doesn't matter where you are. All it matters is you just want to spend the time the way that you like to spend it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the place, the time, it's not that important. Maybe it's not useless, but it's not that important as well. Yes, maybe we just took that for granted. We just
And the thing is, we cannot really predict it, and
it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not like you want something and that happens. It's just it doesn't work like that. You want something and it doesn't happen. You plan and it fails.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't want to talk about another concept. I just don't want to open another door here.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Maybe we can. So the whole idea of failure. So in bigger picture, you never know if failure is a failure or not. So
Yeah.
we don't want to talk about future, but from future perspective, maybe all your failures were success.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because you're towards one. This is one of the only things that I know that we human have in common, and that's survivability. We like to survive
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal behind everything. It doesn't matter how much money you're gonna make. It doesn't matter what you're gonna eat. The only thing that matters is you don't want to die. Until the moment that it comes, I don't know, whenever it is.
Yeah.
But you just like to survive. That's instinct. That's basic. That's the foundation of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
So failure, maybe it's not failure.
Yeah, yeah,
And again,
maybe.
language.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it was not the best word for it.
Yeah.
It's just you want something and it doesn't happen. Let's say it that way.
Still, I believe it doesn't happen should not make you sad or
Yeah,
happy.
yeah, yeah,
So what happened just happened. So
yeah.
so skeptical, right?
Yeah, we
Like
cannot
living
control it.
living today, just waking up, and all right. Let me tell you this. From a long time ago, I started thinking about the very basic instinct that we have: happiness, sadness, and stuff like that. And I thought, in the world that we're living today, there are too much ups and downs for nothing. So too much language stuff that we use, we define things in a way that we like to define, and whatever that we define is not going to apply on our life by itself. So it needed to be customized. Sadness, maybe it's some happiness to someone, and
Yeah.
happiness of somebody else is sadness to another one. So the thing is that when you don't actually step aside from these definitions, you're just in a roller coaster and you're going up and down unwanted. So the problem is that I thought, if I want to just play the game that we already have in the world, just being in the definition that other people defined a long time ago, if I want to do that, it's going to kill me. Because most of the games that people are playing in today's world is just based on feelings, which I'm really bad at it. And it used to kill me until the time that I thought, all right, let's be so skeptical. Whatever that happened, if anybody just talking about you and they're just giving you some compliment, do not become happy. For the time being, that if anybody is going to criticize you, you're not going to get sad. So maybe life become a little bit, balanced, in my opinion. You're not going to go up and you're not going to go down, and your life is going to just be like a very straight line. Maybe if somebody from outside perspective just going to see you and you say, oh, dude, you don't have a happy life, but I can claim that I don't have a sad life as well. So it's kind of like, fine by that.
So we have a problem with language.
Yeah.
I wish we could get rid of it.
I believe it's a very good thing.
Why do we learn new languages? Now I'm feeling pointless.
Actually, today I was thinking about learning a new language.
No. We should just remove all the languages and use telepathy.
Yeah,
Believe me.
Yeah. All the thing based on intuition. I mean, like, human used to live like that, right?
Yeah.
Like they had. I mean, it's like we Homo sapiens, we brought words. Maybe it made things simpler.
It worked out till some point, but it brought up a lot of
nowadays too much complexity
and disadvantages. I mean, why do we have to existential crisis?
Yeah,
It's because of the language.
based on YouTube stuffs, people nowadays make some videos that the things that we wanted to say and the things that we actually says. Too much hypocrisy, I'm just like, we don't know what we want based on language. If it was just about acting and body language, we could just simply show everything. It's like, you don't even need to try to show things from your body language. If you get upset, you just lean back.
You just
And
show
when
it.
you're so happy, you're just leaning forward
it just
towards
automatically.
Yeah.
And it's just.
You can't fake
better.
it,
Things
you
would
can't
be-
fake it.
Yeah,
When I
it would be
s-
simpler.
When I say something very nice about you, and if you like it, you just blush.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm just like, you don't need to say, no, it doesn't work on me. It doesn't work. But dude, you're blushing. I was just like, that's body language, idiot. Yeah, that's totally okay. But language brought a lot of complexity. Maybe we human, we're not that complicated. I would think, like you said the word complicated about our system. Dude, eat a stone. See what's going to happen to your system. It's going to just crash. Eat a bit of poison. It's going to crash. So it's complicated the way that it is only because we know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not that complicated. I think the most level of complexity of our body could be the things that we can eat anything on Earth, still it can function, but it cannot.
But I mean, something can be very complex and at the same time very vulnerable.
Yeah.
It is vulnerable. I think it is complex and at the same time it is very vulnerable. Like sometimes I think about the fact that you cut your skin and then blood comes out of it. It's just liquid coming out and then you cannot do anything. It's like, what the hell? I'm just filled with water. I thought it would be sand or something. It would be better.
No. Just let me tell you this. All right. To me, the real complexity is making something in no time. At the same time, it should be in a way that you cannot understand it pretty much easily. But look at the time that Earth spent it on us to make it the way that it works. Imagine if you have, I don't know, 3 million years to develop something. Maybe it's not that complicated from that perspective.
Yeah, it just happens slowly and
Yes.
surely, and
Yeah. It's just let me try, let me experience enough.
yeah,
So maybe in that perspective, 3 million years for whatever that we have is a very big time. So I think we're not that complicated.
yeah,
Especially in
nature.
especially in 21st century.
Yeah,
It's like brain was a mystery, but nowadays it's not that mystery. Again, it's like the most complicated part in our body is kind of like the brain, and we can analyze it now.
and our body cannot, keep up with the pace of technology and the modern
Maybe we're not that
world. And
complex.
yeah, we need more
Let's
complexity.
come up with, I don't know, a quantum
Yeah.
physics or quantum processors.
Yeah, exactly.
Let them process something, see the complexity there, huh? A machine can do a million years processing in only a second. Something like that maybe can be called complex.
And well, then again, the problem of language, the whole idea of complexity is also a very vague term. What do we mean by complexity? I mean, is a quantum computer really complex? Is our body complex? Maybe both are complex in different ways.
In different ways, we're living
Yeah.
we're living in a different league. Maybe we're the
Yeah.
most complicated things in our own league.
Is it okay to compare them? Are they comparable?
Is it
You know,
even matter
so-
that they're complicated or not?
Yeah.
Let's make it more fundamental. Like a thing that it goes nowhere.
Yeah. Maybe before we just make this podcast more nihilistic, we just finish it at some point. And I really want to drink tea, by the way.
All right. We can do that. We can do that.
Let's go for a tea.
Yeah. And also, Kamran made a beautiful cake.
Wow.
We can also eat
Yeah.
cake with the tea that
And
you
I
like.
think he should be bored of us talking all the
Where is
time.
he?
He's in the room, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, let's just finish it here.
All right.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Thank you for listening to our chit chat. If you have reached this point already, hope you're not having a headache.
Yeah.
We usually don't do it in front of other people, so it's just something that between us that we have these kind of talks only when
Yeah.
we're together. When there are some other friends, we just don't open these topics because then at some point they will
They
be
feel
mad at
we're
us.
crazy.
Yeah. You're sure they just
Yeah, yeah,
they're-
absolutely.
yeah, they
They're
just
sure that
become-
we're
yeah.
crazy.
but they just
Yeah. And and for making it more clear, when we're together, we
Yeah.
go so deeper. And I don't know. I mean, like, I think Mo is afraid of making it too deep. I was like, he's much more deeper than I am in this particular subjects. Based on his functions, he can go a lot deeper to molecule level. Like,
I just
Like-
try to keep
yeah,
it simple.
one time you made me scared of one topic.
What was it? Tell me about it.
I really don't remember every single detail about it. Maybe it was about the life itself. And you made me scared, but because I never thought about the subject that deep.
Maybe it was about meaning.
Yes,
Yeah,
kind
I said, why do you use the word meaning? What is meaning? And then at some point you were just shocked,
Yeah.
and I thought that the connection is broken because you were not replying for some seconds. And
yeah, I was thinking about it. And it was
Yeah.
the meaning, why we use the word meaning.
yeah,
So because yes, I was talking about the meaning of something, and
Yeah.
and I had some problem.
how you were talking how to make the life meaningful.
Full,
And
yes, man, exactly. We were talking about how to make life meaningful, and you said, dude, just forget about life. What is meaning and why we use the word meaning? Yeah, that one time, yeah, it made me think for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. It
Yeah.
was just like no answer. Scary.
Yeah,
Molecule
so
level
I just
concept.
tried not to scare you and others. so-
Yeah, but that was good. I mean, it's like I
Yeah,
don't know
I enjoy
what
it.
I thought about that afterwards, but maybe we can talk about that as well in another day.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Just one Easter egg for the ones who are listening. So as last night I was talking about death with my aunt, I opened Spotify. I played a random song, and it was a song by a band called Hermanos Gutierrez.
Oh, you
So
sent it from me.
yeah, the song is called Suéltalo. So in Spanish, suéltalo means just let it go or just drop it or something like that. So I encourage you to go and listen to that song
All right, I can.
after listening to this podcast because it will help you, to just sleep easier
Cool.
and not get mad.
Suéltalo.
Yeah, suéltalo.
All right.
And
Yeah.
suéltalo.
All right, all right. Hope we have a good quality in our audio. I'm just checking my monitor that the waveform is not that weak. But I think you had to lean just like that in the
Yeah.
whole conversation. But we can do it better.
I think it was okay. Maybe
it
you
was
can just increase the
okay,
volume.
Yeah. It's not about the volume, It's about the waveform. If it's not that big in terms of the audio quality, it should be a big waveform that you can actually magnify or put some amplification on it. So by being so far, the quality of the sound is not that good. So if you just amplify that particular sound, it amplifies a not good quality audio. So I'm just like, later on we can do it. This is the first episode. We will see the pros and the cons and the advantages and like the disadvantages of the thing that we put here, the concept. I was like, I will watch it. I will try to track the way that we can do it better, and we can actually have a better audio in the future as well. So, first episode. Thank you so much if we watched this until now. I don't know how long it'll be, and I'm not sure if I can put the whole thing as a united video on YouTube because my internet is speed. I made a video about that. The speed of my internet is enough weak that I cannot do that things until the time that I go outside of Iran and having a better internet. But I will try to just cut it in a very reasonable way. Yep, to be able to upload it. But thank you so much. Mo is here. He's gonna be here kind of like forever. I will make him to actually keep up with the podcast pace.
Yeah.
We can talk a lot on it, and hope you had fun. Give us some of your opinion on how we can make it better. If it was good enough, that would be great. But if it is not, I would love to hear from you that how we can actually make it better. All right. Any last word?
Thank you. Just
All
thank
right.
you for the podcast, and see you soon here
All
again.
right. Let's go to drink the tea. Right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.